Imagine facing an army of insect-like aliens, each member designed for a single purpose, and executing it with terrifying precision. The arachnids, also called bugs or archies, have conquered entire planets and built a vast empire that rivals humanity's own. Their society is not just a chaotic swarm, it's a complex hierarchy where every bug, from the psychic brain bug to the explosive plasma bug, fills a specialized role that keeps their war machine running smoothly. What makes these creatures so effective? Is it brute strength alone? Or is there something deeper in their biology, enabling them to overpower human forces repeatedly? To understand the real threat, we start with their most iconic member, the massive, nearly unstoppable warrior bug. Here's the thing that's been bugging me, pun intended, about warrior bugs. They literally shouldn't be able to exist, and I mean that scientifically. These towering monsters stand nearly 12 feet tall, weigh several tons, and are covered in armored exoskeletons that can shrug off bullets and explosions. Yet, somehow, they move with impossible agility for their size. What's your first thought when you see one charging across the battlefield? Probably run, right? But what you should be thinking is, how is that thing not collapsing under its own weight? Let me break down the physics problem here. On Earth, insects are constrained by something called the square cube law. And this is where things get really interesting. The Goliath beetle, weighing just over 100 grams, represents near the upper limit of what insect physiology can support. Why? Because when you double an insect's size, its weight increases by 8 times, but its structural support only increases by 4 times. If we scale up a rhinoceros beetle to warrior bug proportions, its exoskeleton would need to be proportionally thicker to support all that extra mass. But here's the catch. Making the armor thicker just adds even more weight, creating a vicious cycle. Eventually, the creature would either collapse under its own mass or become so heavily armored it couldn't move. But wait, it gets worse. Let's talk about how these things breathe, or rather, how they shouldn't be able to breathe. Terrestrial insects use passive diffusion through tubes to move oxygen through their bodies. Creatures like Meganeura, that 2-foot wingspan dragonfly from 300 million years ago, could exist because Earth's atmosphere contained 35% oxygen compared to today's 21%. Warrior bugs dwarf these ancient titans in every dimension. If Klendathu's atmosphere is Earth-like, and it must be, since humans operate there without breathing apparatus, these creatures should suffocate within minutes of the explosive combat we see them engaging in. Yet, not only do they survive, they excel in extended combat scenarios. Watch footage of these creatures in combat. They pivot, dodge, and strike with precision that rivals vertebrate coordination. Their articulated armor allows remarkable flexibility without sacrificing protection, suggesting advanced muscular and nervous systems coordinating hundreds of individual segments in real time. And their damage tolerance? We've seen warrior bugs continue fighting effectively after sustaining injuries that would drop any Earth-based creature instantly. What do you think? Redundant organs? Distributed nervous networks? Or maybe rapid tissue regeneration? This level of resilience suggests something way beyond natural evolution. Could their anatomy indicate external engineering? If so, their fearsome capabilities aren't accidents of nature. They're deliberate design choices. The arachnid empire isn't just a bunch of giant bugs swarming around. It's a military organization so perfectly structured, it makes human armies look like amateur hour. Let's start with the backbone of their forces, warrior bugs. These aren't mindless drones following pheromone trails like Earth's army ants. During the Battle of Klendathu, military analysis observed them executing complex flanking maneuvers, coordinated retreats, and adaptive formations that responded immediately to changing battlefield conditions. Think about that for a second. No chemical signal could propagate fast enough to coordinate such rapid tactical shifts across thousands of individuals. We're talking about real-time tactical instructions. Squad Alpha, execute pincer movement. Squad Beta, provide covering fire. How is that even possible? Either they have advanced neurological networks we don't understand, or something else is coordinating them. But it gets more impressive. Worker bugs don't just maintain colonies, they're biological construction crews that put our best engineers to shame. We're talking about underground tunnel networks spanning continents, complete with ventilation systems and defensive choke points. The crazy part? Satellite imagery shows major fortifications appearing overnight. Let me put this in perspective. Human engineering projects of similar scope require months of planning, heavy machinery, and specialized materials. These worker bugs accomplish comparable feats with biological tools alone, excavating tons of rock and soil while installing support structures capable of withstanding orbital bombardment. The specialized combat casts add even more complexity. Tanker bugs function as living chemical warfare units, storing and mixing industrial-strength acids that can dissolve armored vehicles in seconds. The chemistry involved is staggering. These creatures must produce, store, and deploy these corrosives without dissolving their own tissues. Spitter bugs provide medium-range artillery support with ballistic precision. Their targeting accuracy suggests compound eyes that can calculate range and trajectory, plus muscular mechanisms powerful enough to achieve necessary projectile velocities. Flying bugs achieve sustained flight while carrying significant combat loads, despite facing the same square-cube scaling problems that plague warrior bug anatomy. By all rights, these creatures should be grounded by their own weight. Warrior bugs engage enemy positions, while flying bugs provide reconnaissance. This isn't chaotic swarming, it's combined arms warfare, executed with mechanical precision. And here's the kicker. Arachnid tactics evolve between engagements. Their strategies incorporate battlefield experience into future operations, suggesting institutional learning that rivals human military institutions. What do you think is more likely? That evolution produced this perfect military machine, or that someone designed it? All right, buckle up, because we're about to dive into the most scientifically impossible creatures in the arachnid arsenal. I'm talking about plasma bugs and brain bugs, two creatures that basically give the laws of nature a middle finger. Let's start with plasma bugs, because honestly, these things shouldn't exist in any universe that follows the same physics as ours. These living artillery pieces launch plasma projectiles that reach orbital altitudes and strike spacecraft with devastating accuracy. But here's what most people don't realize. Plasma is matter heated to over 10,000 degrees Celsius, literally hotter than the surface of the sun. Creating plasma requires enormous energy input, typically achieved through powerful electromagnetic fields or nuclear fusion. The most advanced human plasma weapons need massive containment systems, superconducting magnets, and industrial power supplies. Now ask yourself this: how does a biological organism generate, contain, and weaponize plasma internally without incinerating itself from the inside out? We're talking about thermal properties exceeding our best ceramics and metals, plus organic electromagnetic field generators more efficient than our most advanced superconductors. But wait, it gets even more impossible. These plasma bugs don't just randomly fire into the sky. Their targeting accuracy rivals human orbital bombardment systems that rely on sophisticated computer guidance and GPS satellites. They're hitting moving spacecraft in orbit using what appears to be purely biological sensory and processing systems. Here's what really gets me though. Plasma bugs coordinate their strikes for maximum tactical effect. They time plasma bursts to create orbital denial zones and provide precise fire support for ground operations. This tactical awareness indicates they're receiving detailed targeting information from higher command structures. Which brings us to brain bugs, the ultimate evolution of biological command and control systems. These massive creatures function as living supercomputers, processing vast amounts of battlefield information and coordinating arachnid forces across planetary distances. Brain bugs simultaneously manage millions of individual arachnids across multiple continents, adapt strategies in real time, and extract tactical intelligence from captured humans. We're talking about processing power that rivals human supercomputers, all housed within biological neural networks. But their information extraction capabilities are what really disturb me. Brain bugs can apparently access human memories and knowledge directly, bypassing language barriers and extracting strategic information prisoners might not even realize they possess. How do you think that works? Advanced neurological interfaces or actual psychic abilities? The feedback loop between brain bugs and other castes creates something unprecedented in warfare. Brain bugs analyze enemy tactics, identify weaknesses, and instantly communicate new strategies to specialized combat units. Plasma bugs receive updated targeting data, warrior bugs adapt formations, worker bugs modify fortifications, all in real time. This suggests individual arachnids function more like components in a vast biological machine than independent organisms. Each bug type serves as a specialized organ in a planetary scale organism optimized for warfare, with brain bugs as the central nervous system. Here's the real question. Could natural evolution produce such perfect military integration, or are we looking at evidence of deliberate bioengineering? So, we've established that arachnids are biological impossibilities by Earth standards. But what if Earth isn't the right standard to judge by? What if Klendathu's environment actually enables these creatures to exist? Let me walk you through the environmental factors that could, and I stress could, make arachnid biology feasible. First up, atmospheric composition. What if Klendathu maintains oxygen concentrations of 40% or more? This could, theoretically, support the metabolic demands of creatures as large as warrior bugs. But here's the thing. An atmosphere with 40% oxygen creates a world where fire burns more intensely and organic chemistry proceeds at accelerated rates. Arachnid exoskeletons would need enhanced fire resistance to survive, which might inadvertently provide armor capable of resisting human weapons. Now, let's talk gravity. If Klendathu has 60 to 70% of Earth's gravity, the structural stresses on large exoskeletons would be significantly reduced. Warrior bugs could support their massive frames more easily. Flying bugs might achieve sustained flight, and those impressive leaping abilities would become physically possible. Lower gravity might also explain how plasma bugs launch projectiles to orbital altitudes. Under Earth gravity, this requires enormous energy, but reduced gravitational fields would lower energy requirements proportionally. But here's what really gets me thinking. Klendathu's geological composition seems perfectly suited to arachnid needs. The planet features arid, rocky terrain with deep canyon systems and extensive underground cave networks. Exactly the geography favoring creatures adapted for digging and underground construction. And then there's apparent lack of biological diversity. Klendathu seems to lack the species competition that drives adaptation on Earth, instead featuring environments heavily favoring anthropod body plans and social organization. Here's where things get suspicious. Rather than creatures adapting to environmental challenges, the environment appears optimized for arachnid biology. The atmospheric composition supports their respiration, gravity enables their size, geology provides construction materials, and climate favors their physiology. When has evolution ever produced such perfect environmental matching? What are the odds that atmospheric composition, gravity, geology, and climate would all align so perfectly with the needs of one species? If Klendathu represents an artificially created environment, then arachnids might be the products of deliberate biological engineering. Their military capabilities, caste specialization, and environmental optimization could all be features of a designed biological weapon system. Which raises the ultimate question. Are we looking at aliens, or are we looking at weapons created by aliens? If it's the latter, who built them, and why? The arachnid threat surpasses brute force. Their society, built around specialized castes like warrior, brain, and plasma bugs, hints at a deeper, potentially artificial origin. The seamless integration of combat roles, from psychic control to orbital bombardment, blurs evolutionary and engineered distinctions. Are the arachnids natural beings, products of Klendathu's harsh evolutionary pressures, or engineered biological weapons designed by another intelligence? Could humanity be confronting not merely alien insects, but the architects behind their creation? Share your theories below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.